did it, right? Financial freedom, I reached it. Or did I? I reached the dividend income level that could let me retire, but I can't. So this is why I can and can't retire. Let's dive in to see what the heck I'm talking about. So I've been investing for over 14 and a half years, in case you haven't caught my other episodes. And dividend investing has been my primary investing vehicle on this journey to financial freedom, guys. So 14 and a half years of consistently investing into the stock market, primarily via dividend stocks and ETFs. If you haven't caught my last few episodes, check out the one where I have been buying VOO every single day and what that has become, as well as me crossing over $100,000 into Vanguard's high dividend yield ETF, just so you can get a small taste of what this journey has been like for me over these last, not just few years, but again, going back to over a decade. I started obviously back when I was, 0 years old. I'm just approaching 15 now, right? No, I'm kidding. I was about 21 years old. And really the last probably 7+ years have been the most pivotal for me in terms of investing, from how much I'm investing to the dividend growth snowball that's just building. And what do I mean by that? The dividend growth, the dividend reinvestment, really just by itself catapulting the dividend income forward. And that's allowing me to build this dividend income or passive income stream to allow me this chance to retire early, right? Again, I reached financial freedom, right? Or did I? Obviously, that's the topic of this video. All right, so what dividend income threshold am I talking about? I haven't talked about it as much as I probably should, considering it's such a monumental figure. My wife and I and our family, we crossed over $24,000 in projected taxable dividend income right now per year. Again, that's $2,000+ per month right now, approximately $2,045 to be so precise, in taxable dividend income per month. Now you might think, only $2,000 a month and you feel like you can retire, but you can't. You might understand the can't part, but let's dive into how I can, the can part. And again, $24,000, barely at or above the minimum wage of a full-time person per year. I think for Ohio, it's somewhere around $21,000 to $22,000 is a full-time minimum wage job. But how can I retire off this $24,000+ of passive income or dividend income from the dividend stock portfolio? You probably have heard it through the comments on YouTube videos that I've put out, on Twitter or on X, that we have a very low cost of living here in Northeast Ohio, not just because of that, but because of the house that, I happened to buy over 12 years ago now. Actually 12 years and 1 month ago, I ended up buying a house back in the fall of 2011. And my family are in this house living here. That means low price point, low mortgage to begin with, refinance the mortgage in 2020, no auto loans, so keep all of that in mind. But let's dive into the actual numbers, right? Because that's what you want to see. How can I live off of possibly, or how can my family and I live off of $24,000 in passive income per year? I'm going to put it up here on the chart, guys, and we're just going to talk through each line item. $1,200 in monthly housing costs. That includes the principal payment, the interest, the taxes, the insurance, and all of the utilities. Literally only adds up to $1,200 per month right now for us. I know what you're thinking. There's no way you can go and do that right now in today's economy, whether you're renting or buying or splitting your house or something like that. Yeah, you're probably right. Which is why we're also in this boat of we can't even find a house to move out into because of the interest rates. We're not, we're kind of stubborn where we're like, well, we're not going to overpay for something right now either. So right now, $1,200 is our all-in utilities and housing costs. So again, what most people's largest expense actually is not that large in comparison to our family's household. Next is really our food expense. We spend only, because it's my wife, myself, and right now a toddler. So he doesn't sit there and just pound food yet like a teenage boy. And again, we only have one child, so we don't have 2 children or 3 children or 4 like some of you may have. So our food budget's really only about $300 a month, and that's being a little bit generous or conservative on the higher side. Sometimes we spend $240, $250, $275 as I was going back through the course of a few months, but I just said, hey, $300, let's dedicate that towards food expense. So you've got $1,200 from the house, $300 from the food. Now I commute to work. So one would say, should you even include that or not? We're going to include it because we'll also include the insurance cost of our 2 cars. But again, if I was retired and free, I'd sell the car, wouldn't drive anymore, reduce the insurance and the gas expense. But for now, we spend about $330 a month on insurance and gas between 2 cars per month. Now again, on some other items with, some health items plus other miscellaneous items throughout the month, kind of just estimated we spent about $170 extra dollars, and we're at about $2,000 per month. Now you might be going, oh, well, what about healthcare cost? Well, exactly. Now we may not have healthcare then if we want to live off of, only $2,000 a month. So could we make it work? Sure. I'm sure there are programs out there that could help us, but could we both retire and just say, hey, we're going to try to make it work with $2,000? Yeah, but it's going to be pretty tight. So you can get a very good glimpse here now, again, at the $1,200 housing, $300 food, $330 auto, and $170 health and miscellaneous items. That's how we come up with $2,000. Now you'll probably realize there's not much entertainment or fun stuff in there. Some of that is built into that miscellaneous, but not much. Let me just be honest there. So that's why, really $2,000, you can probably retire. We can probably retire, but we can't at the same time because of a bunch of variables I'll talk about here. And, keep in mind that $330 auto and insurance, I could probably, wrap that into some more fun stuff for the family, maybe put that into some health insurance, questionable costs that we might have. But for now, I'm leaving it as is. So let's dive into the why we can't part of this equation. All of the unknowns, right? The health insurance. What would we do if we both quit and, needed to figure out health insurance for not just myself, not just for her, but for also our toddler? There's 3 of us. So questionable health insurance costs, which I know could run anywhere from $500 to $1,000 a month. Now, if you've happened to retired early and you have a child or 2, let me know if you figured out the health insurance equation if you've done that. The next big thing is the house. We're in our house. Not saying this is the house that we want to be in. We've been looking for a house for probably over 2 years now. And, we're finally starting to see some price, compression, some price reduction, some back to the markets, some better pricing, but still pricing is way too high for us, just from what we are looking to buy and what we feel like is the right price for what you get. And then the rates are obviously over 7.5% to 8.5% right now. So that's the big questionable item. We want to move. So this is not our $1,200 housing cost. More than likely isn't the final housing cost we'll always have, unless somehow we just decide to say, hey, we're going to stay here because the funds just make more sense here. The math equation just makes more sense. The next big piece is for our child and potential future child, school, extracurriculars, all of those costs that go into that. Now, I'm sure, again, there could be other programs, but, I kind of earmark that there's a large cost that we just don't have yet since we have a toddler and we haven't seen him grow up with sports, with different travel things he might want to do, as well as, we're saving money in his 529 plan, so we're just not sure on the school, extracurriculars, activities, sports, and all of those costs that are associated with raising a child. So I also then wanted to take it a step further. Well, what does that look like? Or how close are we to being able to retire? Again, because now that we've decided that 24,000, though we can, but we can't because of the questionables, what does it actually look like? Well, I estimated that our housing might be $3,400 a month, or almost 3 times what you saw earlier. So from $1,200 to $3,400 is what I estimate based on a purchase price less down payment cost at a rate of about 8%. You get to around $3,400, which would include your taxes and insurance on top of the P&I, or principal and interest payment. Next, I said, hey, we're just going to keep food simple. I'm not going to be eating filet mignons any more than I am now, which is fairly never. I'm not a big steak guy, but I do occasionally. We'll have one maybe per year or two. I might cook one for my wife, but typically that doesn't get me going, I guess, if that's if it makes any sense. So our food, we would just say, kind of would stay the same. Our auto, I'm going to say, hey, it's going to stay the same, $330. No plans to get an auto loan at all. No plans to change our cars right now for the next 5-10 years. But now this is the big kicker, is $1,000 per month I dedicated towards tuition, extracurriculars, events, activities, and all of that, possibly for 1 to 2 children. So that's $12,000 a year, $1,000 a month that I would say was probably needed. Again, you could probably help me in the comments below by telling me how much you've been paying here in the Midwest, Northeast Ohio, in particular for child tuition and activity costs. Lastly, I just kind of left it all consistent with the minor health items, some other expenses, maybe some minor entertainment expenses. So it came to about $5,200 per month. So a little over $4,000 a month, right? I mean, a little, I guess, quite a bit over the $4,000 mark that I've been looking for. So $5,200 per month right now based on that budget. So if I really wanted to get there, again, I always say I'm about halfway, because I can always mess with the yield on the portfolio by what I'm purchasing, right? So I estimate that I'll need a dividend stock portfolio of about $1.4 million with the yield of between, 3.5% to 4% to really get to that $5,200 per month threshold, and to be able to say, hey, I feel like we can retire now. And again, these are in today's dollars. So we'll say that I'm close to being just about halfway there. Again, I'm not stopping, right? So what's the plan? The plan is to keep buying, keep consistently investing. Again, I have the Vanguard trifecta, you betcha, the VYM, the VOO, and the VIG that I invest into every single day or every single week, buying undervalued individual dividend stocks. Also still building up the alternative assets of Fundrise, as well as Sweater. You can check out, those videos as well, where I deep dive into it. But guys, I can and can't retire. Gosh dang it. I've reached financial freedom, but haven't reached financial freedom. It's a little bit of a tease, but it's nice knowing that the 15 almost years of investing has really, made it this far. And I know that the next 5, 10, 15 more years should be even more, fruitful, I guess, from all the investing that's been done. So I can't wait for that, guys. Again, almost there. It's nice knowing of where we are, but I'm more happy and excited about where we're going. So let me know in the comments what you think about this content, what you thought about this video, how close you are in your journey to financial freedom, and if you enjoyed, again, seeing this content. Whatever else you might want to see, let me know below. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel. I appreciate you for rocking with me, and I'll catch you on the next one.